Chicory is a perennial flower that a lot of times grows along roadsides in my area. You can grow in disturbed sites and that sort of thing, but they need a lot of sun in order to thrive. The key way to spot it is by these bright blue flowers. As you drive by them, you'll see these pop up in my area of Lower Michigan right around June. A lot of chicory is actually harvested for the leaves, which people use in salads. How to identify it? Well, really, just as you're driving by, you're looking for a few things. You're looking for these bright blue flowers. If the flowers aren't present, you're really looking for this sort of gangly stalk with, I guess, these little branches that kind of come off of the main stem. You've got one main stalk, and then you have branches that come off in a rotating and alternate pattern. So you've got a branch here, rotate, branch here, rotate, branch here. All along the branches, boy, and I don't know the technical term for it, but all along the branches are these little buds that pop out, and on each one of these buds is a potential flower. Chicory is not a native plant to America. They were introduced from Europe, I believe, and now they just grow all over the United States. The stem of chicory is very tough, and the flower heads tend to be about the size of a quarter, maybe a 50-cent piece. The leaves of the base of chicory very much resemble dandelion leaves, as you can see. It is a very nutritious plant to eat, and I would check out, I'm going to put a link in the description, there's a great Wikipedia article where a lot of my information came from that you can check out. In 100 grams of chicory, you're looking at there's only 4 carbs, not a whole lot there, but there are 4 grams of fiber and 1.7 grams of protein, and loaded with all kinds of other vitamins. In fact, chicory has 283% of your daily value of vitamin K for 100 grams, or 3.5 ounces. If you look alongside of the road for these, they can tend to grow up to about 5 feet tall or so, and a lot of times they'll have a deep taproot, except for what I found is alongside of the roads, because of some of the compactness of the gravel, the roots don't quite grow as large as if you can get it more off the side of the road and more into areas with less compaction. So how do you eat them? Well, you can pick the leaves. You can eat them raw like this. They tend to be a little bitter, but it's better to get them in springtime. They're a lot less bitter than, if they are bitter, you can boil them in a couple changes of water, and that can take care of some of the bitterness. Again, you can use the leaves raw in salad. They do have a little bitter taste to them, but again, sometimes people like that to add some flavor variety in their leafy salads. Or you can saute them or wilt them with some oil and vinegar. You can actually dig the root up, and the root is very commonly used in Europe as a coffee substitute. And how you do that, you dig the root up, wash it, roast it in an oven until it's dark like coffee, and then you can grind it up and use it like coffee. You can actually take the flower part and eat it just straight like that. Although the older flowers tend to have a little bit more of a bitter taste to them, but they do go well in salads. And again, some people like to mix in some of that bitter taste with some of their salad dishes in order to give some contrasting flavors, that sort of thing. And one of the cool things about chicory is, look at that blue flower real close and the way it grows, the leaves. There are no poisonous lookalikes. Now, although it tastes kind of bitter and you might not enjoy that flavor so much, there are no poisonous lookalikes to chicory. So that's chicory. Be looking for that along the roadsides in your area. One thing I will say as sort of a precaution, if you get into wild edible plants and understanding the wild edible plants that grow in your area especially, you have to be very careful with harvesting wild edibles that grow along roadsides. A lot of communities and farms spray things like pesticides and weed killers, things to try to hinder the growth of these sorts of things. So just as sort of an added tip, if you get into wild edibles like I've been getting into, and you start seeing things along roadsides, don't just jump out and pick them, because you need to know whether or not someone has sprayed chemicals on them. You definitely don't want to be eating your farmer's pesticides. So that's chicory. Thank you guys so much. I got stuck in my tooth. Thank you all for tagging along in this Wild Edibles plant series on chicory. Appreciate all your comments and support. If you haven't done so, hit that like button, subscribe, share the video with a friend, and we'll see you in the next video, or we'll see you outdoors. Take care.